Hello and welcome to David's World. Today we have a Friday the 13th tale. What happened yesterday for me when I do this video was unusual. Hello, yes, and welcome to the Friday the 13th tale. This tale consists of, well, 3 items. 1, us. 2, McDonald's. And 3, Just Eat. Now there's a combination, if you ever had any combination whatsoever to understand. Well, what happened? Well, let's just say things didn't go smooth or to plan or to any type of time scale. That could be giving you a hint. Okay, this is what happened. At 5:15 on Friday the 13th, my sister asked me if I wanted a McDonald's, and since it had to get delivered, we had to use Just Eat because of how much they charge, and they're cheaper than Uber Eats to deliver if you want something to eat. Okay, so my sister went online and ordered from McDonald's in Baker, which is in Newcastle, where we live. And we did this at 5:15. Now, Just Eat came back and said, we think we'll be delivering approximate time 5:45. Okay, no problem. After that, message came, we've assigned a driver. Delivery time will be at, and use the word at, a precise measurement of time, 5:52. So we're going, okay. Watching that the app tells you what stage your meal is at and if the driver is on the way, we just waited. Me here and my sister at her house, because I was going to go around and pick it up when he was on his way and left McDonald's. So, what happened? 5:52 arrived, and nothing arrived. The app said that nothing had left McDonald's yet. Waiting and waiting and waiting until 6:30. At 6:30, she phoned them up and asked. Now, McDonald's said this. The driver hasn't turned up, so we haven't been able to give him the order. But we would prefer if you used Uber Eats for your delivery type thing. Now, Uber Eats at this present moment in time is twice the price to deliver. So, near £4, which is a disgustingly large amount of money for getting any size meal delivered. So, what happens? We wait and we get given a new time, 7:02. I do love these very precise, stupid times. You might as well just said 7 o'clock. So, once again, we wait. The driver says, McDonald's one said, the driver is in McDonald's, so we'll get your food and we'll have it there at 7:02. We wait. 7:02 comes. At this time, I'm already on the phone to my sister going, where is it? It's still there. Oh, okay. Shall I hold my breath? I don't think so. So nothing happens. We wait and wait and wait and wait. If you're really hungry and really desperate and have just if you take it, if we were a health worker and had just done a very long shift and was hungry, this would be very, very bad. And it is really. Now, it got to a point where it is as sickening as hell. So my sister tried to go online to cancel and give up because the time scale was ridiculous. But she couldn't get through to either of them because Just Eat, high volume, no space. McDonald's, not answering the phone at all. So couldn't even say. Just before 8 o'clock, so 5:15, 8 o'clock, it's on its way. What? yeah, I believe that when I see it. So I'm going, okay, I'll come round. I almost get to my sister's house at the time that he drops off. And that's half a mile. And I'm walking. I almost beat the car dropping off the food. If I had had a tiny bit more time and he hadn't already had left and was already on the road and driving out. So, the moral of this horrid Friday the 13th tale is that 5:15 to 8 o'clock, over 2.5 hours, just being generous, we know that 5:15 to 8 o'clock isn't 2.5 hours, but even being generous and saying 2.5 hours is an immense amount of time to wait to get a delivery. And the downside to this is that it wasn't exceptionally hot. The coffee was cold that my sister ordered, and she ordered a milkshake, and that wasn't all that thick. So the items we got weren't to a standard that was all that good. And if I had bought a McDonald's and then brought it home, it would have been a lot hotter than actually what it was. So, who is to blame here? We asked the driver what happened quickly. The driver denoted that McDonald's at Baker preferred Uber to do the delivery because they have a better deal with Uber, that Uber don't take as much percentage of the sale as how much Just Eat takes, so they would prefer that. But the downside is that the customer pays more to get their item delivered. Twice as much more. Now that's technically not acceptable, but then if McDonald's aren't happy with Just Eat, then they shouldn't have an agreement with them to make any deliveries. If they're not happy with how much they are taking or demanding, just don't use the service. You really do have to ask yourself why we rely on a single company to do deliveries for all the takeaways, on the grounds that if this is what happens and this is only this much of the population ordering, and the future is going to be one of these companies delivers any takeaways that we ever buy, then we're technically in the shit, okay? Because how many of you are going to be immensely happy to wait over 2.5 hours to get a meal? I know I'm not. You know, if I order a meal, don't forget, you can't technically order a meal until the takeaway opens, and some don't open till 5 o'clock. So therefore, you still don't get dinner before 7:30 at night or later. So we're just wondering, who's to blame? Is it McDonald's, or is it Just Eat not having a driver, or a driver accepting it, or a driver accepting too many jobs and then not being able to fulfill them? Now, this is the thought that when we phoned at 7, McDonald's said they were going to redo the whole order. So throw out the current order and produce a new fresh order. Now, I would say that this is probably more what happened. The driver said he had waited a considerable amount of time to get the order. So I think what McDonald's did for the second order is this, but I think they did it in the following manner. They waited until he got there and was sitting and waiting for the order. Then they added the order into the line, but they added it after every other order that had come in, even if that orders were all after the time that this first order, our order, had gone in. Or are you saying that it takes McDonald's 2.5 hours to produce a fast food burger? Are we saying that? We can't be. Can McDonald's be that incompetent that 2.5 hours is their production time from scratch to cook a burger? I don't think you could be that bad. And I can't see you being that busy that you can't increase speed to meet, because at rush hours, at peak times when you have a full thing, you might wait 10 minutes, 5, but not 2.5 hours. That would mean you're overdone. It's just ridiculous. So what I think they did, they moved our tab to the end and did all the people who ordered after we did first until they got up to us, produced it, and then decided to wait 5 minutes. That's why the food became cold and the coffee became cold, and then give it to the driver as a, you made us waste some food, we're going to make you wait for it. So by the time we got it, was it really worth getting in the first place? Well, if you waited over 2.5 hours to get your meal, would you order again from wherever you'd bought it? We do put the blame on both. We do start with the blame that Just Eat didn't get a driver to McDonald's in the first place. Then we also put the blame on McDonald's for when the driver arrived, they didn't produce the food in a more urgent manner and said, okay, the driver's here, let's do that one now and get it to them as quickly as possible. It would have arrived at the time they said, which by the time we were told the driver was there, was still 20 minutes before the delivery time. That is more than time to produce the burger and produce our order and give it to the driver. And the driver only needs a couple of minutes to get from Baker to our house. A tale of Friday the 13th, McDonald's and Just Eat. The future of home delivery. The future of people in their homes cooking their own food from scratch, because I know I can cook a meal much faster than 2.5 bloody hours. Down strike McDonald's and Just Eat. Bye for now.